In this episode, we're going to use Browser ID, which is Mozilla's new federated login that is based completely on people's email. They just need a verified email and they can log in through Browser ID on any website that implements it. It's actually very easy to implement, and fortunately, since Mozilla does all of their stuff, or most of their stuff, in Django and Python, they have written a convenient library to go ahead and do that. I've already installed the Browser ID library, but in the show notes I'll leave a quick command for you to run to install it using their Git repository. It's currently not in PyP at the moment. The first thing that we have to do is set up some custom settings in our settings file, and believe it or not, that's the hardest part of setting up Browser ID, is just adding our settings, which is pretty simple. So our first step is to add Browser ID to our installed apps. And we're going to add it right below the Django contrib auth. And what that's going to do is it's going to monkey patch the authentication stuff to add our custom Browser ID information. The next thing we need to do is add our own template context processors. To save time, I'm just going to paste a few of these things in here so you don't have to see me type long things out. So what we added here is we added our context processors for the auth system built into Django, and we added our Browser ID context processors. The next thing we need to do is set our authentication backends setting. And we're just setting that to our Browser ID backend. The next thing we need to do is we need to set our site URL. This is for security issues. And in all honesty, I would probably set this to an environment variable for our settings so that we can run this on both production and local without doing a lot of finagling. The next thing that we need to do is whenever we log in with Browser ID, we actually want to create a new user. And that's really it for our settings file. The next thing we need to do is add our URLs. As you probably guessed, it's also going to be fairly simple. And that's all we need for that. So at this point we have our URLs and we have our settings, and it's almost done. The next thing that we need to do is actually give our users a sign-in button to click. Add this to the top of our page. So now we have our code entered in. Let's go ahead and let me run you through this. If the user is not authenticated, it's going to create a link that says sign in, sets its ID to Browser ID. It creates a form that is going to run to do our validation and verification, and that's pretty much it for the HTML. The next thing we need to do is we need to add some JavaScript, good old JavaScript. These are just going to be 2 lines. We need jQuery and we need the Browser ID JavaScript library. And then we need to add some custom JavaScript. What this code does is it processes the form. Whenever we click the sign in button, it makes sure that it doesn't actually go to the link that we set it to, which was just the same page. It grabs the Browser ID form that we have below and does an assertion and makes sure that the information is correct when we want to log in. And then finally, we just want to add a little code to verify that the user is logged in. There, so now when the user is logged in, we should see their email address. Let's go ahead and actually do a test run of all this. Alright, we have our sign in button. Let's go ahead and click it. We get our nice fun browser ID dialog that pops up. We didn't do anything to make this. This actually came from the browser ID. See browserid.org, sign in. Click sign in. We're going to log in with mybuddylindsay.com. And then note we went to account/profile. That's built into the Django authentication system. All you need to do is change some settings files to fix that. Let's just go ahead and go back to the home page. There we go. Hello, buddy at buddylindsay.com. So we have successfully implemented the browser ID authentication system into our Django application, and we have logged in / created a new user using browser ID. All this information comes from the browser ID GitHub page on the README. You can go there and actually explore some of the more interesting details of implementing browser ID. This is the basics of what you need to do to get started so that you don't have to go through a bunch of fun, complicated stuff to set up sign-in forms and account creation. Well, it's actually generally pretty easy in Django. This just makes it that much easier. I thank you again for watching this episode of the GoDjango screencast on browser ID. Please visit our website at godjango.com and subscribe to the RSS feed to stay up to date to the latest videos coming out. Also, please like us on Facebook and feel free to comment and leave suggestions. And I just want to thank you for watching and have a great day.